What's going on, Dan K Show fans? Another week, another Dan K Show. Hockey has really taken off around the country. We've got Mountain Division to talk about. We've got Great Lakes hockey to talk about. We got Players of the Week to unveil and chat through, and we've got a little bit of a selection Sunday this Thursday as Dan and Lucas put the money where the mouth is, or their money. I don't know how to say things, Lucas. I don't know how to say things correctly. Big show this week, prediction week, Dan K Show. All right, let's get things started. Dan K's three things. Thing number one, what's going on behind Dan K, Lucas? Where did all the Dan K Show merch go? Where did all the excitement go in the background? Well, we're leaving. Well, I'm leaving. Lucas didn't live here with me. I am leaving the Dan K Show Wayne Studios to head down south. It's going to be Beach House year. That's thing number two, Beach House year. Beach House Studios, South Jersey. Dan K going to be enjoying the beach while watching hockey aplenty nationwide. Thing number three, we're going to make some way too early predictions this week. You may say, Dan, you know nothing about these teams, but I say I know nothing ever. So what better time to make predictions than right now, today, on today's show, and make some people love us and make some people hate us. And now I introduce into the show a man that some people love and everybody hates. I'm just kidding. That's, what is it? Everybody hates Chris. Not this guy, a man who is my right-hand man, my consigliere, technical director of the Dan K Show, the honorable king of cheese boards, the only man who can pair a port wine cheddar with the right beer. It's Lucas Jones. Lucas, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Dan. I have been leaning pretty heavily on the meat and cheese boards, with work pushing me sometimes past dinner late into the night. It's that familiar dilemma for us old folk. You're hungry, but you know you're not supposed to eat after like 7:30. So what do? You go to a little meat and cheese board, a little salami, a little Australian cheddar I've been getting into lately, a little bit of a sharp cheddar, that gator bite to it. Highly recommended if you can get your hands on some.
Lucas, when you try that Australian cheddar, would you say that you have a good day, mate?
I'd say I'm like a Tasmanian devil swooping up all that cheese.
Ooh, it's almost like you had a second take at that joke to make it even better. But I'll tell you what, this guy does it right the first time. And a couple teams did it right the first time, the second time, every time this weekend, Lucas. There was some incredible play, and that's the first place we start. Before we get into prediction day, I want to recap the weekend and where else to start but in the premiere, where there was hockey aplenty nationwide. And one of the big names coming out of this weekend was the Toledo Cherokee, Lucas. A great weekend for the Cherokee and a Player of the Week nod out of that.
Yeah, the Toledo Cherokee had themselves a time. I mean, you talk about playing two games with a +8 goal differential, scored 14 goals in two games. They also had 48 penalty minutes, Dan, so a little bit of a rough and tumble vibe coming out of Toledo. But I love that. I love that vibe coming out of the team. They impressed early, right? You went back and you watched that game, and sometimes the scores we say can always be misleading, right? If there's a mismatch, but there wasn't much of a mismatch. It was just that Toledo was taking advantage of their chances. They were playing the game correctly. They were big into the boards, Dan. They clogged up the middle. This Toledo team, we know, has been on the cusp in that division for a year or two now, and they have just been. I think this season might be a good season to look out for them.
Andrej Dupal, Lucas, our Player of the Week in the premiere. Holy Toledo! This kid is talented. Was the call from Dan K. That's a Keith Jackson move right there, Lucas. That's an old school guy. I don't know if there's many of the guys playing in the league right now who heard Keith Jackson on the mic, but you listen back to that Holy Toledo. Incredible work by him. But Andrej Dupal, 5 goals, 2 assists, a stellar opening showing for this young man. You can go to www.dankashow to watch, listen, and read more about him. You're not going to listen, Lucas. You can't hear me. Maybe read it in my voice. I don't know. Do we have a push to plays that's going to read it to them in my voice or no?
No, that feature we still haven't put on the website yet because I have no earthly idea how to make that happen. But I'll find out.
Next up, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I cut you off because I'm so excited to talk about him every week. I think we're going to talk about him every week at this point. Who are we talking about? Who's Dan K going to bring up right now? Who's the best team in all the lane? The Charlotte Rush. These gentlemen just don't lose, and they don't just not lose. They don't give up goals. Look at David Battisti in net for this Charlotte Rush squad. 2 starts, 0 goals. You know how many games you can lose when you don't allow a goal? No games. You can't lose when you don't allow a puck in the back of the net. It's just how hockey works, folks. This young goaltender is dominant. And you want to talk about his number 2, his accoutrement, his right-hand man in net. How about Tripp Clark, who hasn't been tripped up at all either? 2 games, 2 goals allowed. He's got a shutout as well. He's allowing 1 goal a game. Battisti's allowing 0 goals a game. They have scored 22 times. You can't lose with that goal differential. You can't lose with that split. They go in, they play a Richmond Generals team that is always difficult, coached by R.C. Light, and they dominate yet again. This team is not going anywhere. They are a monster.
It's a bit much, if I'm honest. It's a bit excessive what they're doing down there in Charlotte. 22 goals scored in 4 games. That I might say, gentlemen, you need to calm down. But then they're even reaching out on the Lucas Jones angle of things. It's not just goals. They've given up 2 goals in 4 games. 2 goals in 4 games in that division is it's patently absurd. And I think it comes down to these 2 goaltenders right now, Dan. I mean, these 2 are phenomenal talents. We've spoken highly of Tripp Clark as well. And both of them are like they're sunflowers finding their bloom at this point because they are coming into their own. They are locked down, confident in net. And there's a little bit of a swagger I'm detecting with these goaltenders as they skate off for the period change in the end of the game. It's a lot of fun to watch Charlotte hockey right now.
Yeah, and you got defenseman Alex Davis, Lucas, who had more assists this weekend than has been totaled against the Rush all season in 4 games. 4 assists this weekend for a defenseman who was blocking shots, finishing checks, playing physical hockey. He gets an honorable mention this week from us as one of the players of the week. Alex Davis is going to be a big-time threat all season long at this premier level for the Rush. This Rush team, they couldn't have done better in the offseason. I said it all offseason. People have asked me all offseason, who do I think had the offseason? I think the Rush just brought in so much talent, so much depth. I think they filled holes they needed to fill. I think they improved what they needed to improve. I think a lot of guys that have come back better than ever. Mm-hmm. I think that Tripp Clark move was the biggest move of the year so far in terms of just laying out what you can do in net. I just love what the Rush have done, and I will talk about them till the day I'm done here.
Well, look, they've got 9 players right now. After 4 games, Dan, they have 9 players who are averaging above a point per game. Shane Hemmer is at 2 points per game right now with 2 goals and 6 assists. I think the biggest thing the Rush have going for them right now is they've taken their hallmark style, score goals, big hits, survive the penalty kills. And they've added to the formula these goaltenders, this defense, this aggressiveness. Part of me feels like the Rush took the pandemic personally because they came into last season with a chip on their shoulder already from the previous year's playoffs, where there was a little where they played well, but not well enough to get past some of the quirkiness sometimes of what these playoff tournaments are. They came in locked and loaded last season, almost swept away the entire division, and then obviously Nationals got canceled due to the pandemic. So now what do? Now you take the big gun that you purchased last year, you buy a bigger gun, you strap those 2 guns together, and you fire them at the rest of the USPHL.
This is a situation, man. This is a Ivan Drago moment right now. These guys are just nonstop working on the game, working on the craft, they're going to be difficult to deal with. How about another team that was difficult to deal with that always is out in the Midwest, the Chicago Cougars. The Cougars with a dominating 2-game performance against the Dells Ducks. And Lucas, the Dells Ducks, before they got into those Cougars games, actually put together some awesome alumni competitions. Some old school alumni from the Ducks organization came out to the Dells, and we got a little insight from Jim Denhollander that there was actually a proposal at center ice. And we want to congratulate, from year 2011, 2012, Lucas, Johnny Resek, who proposed to his girlfriend. He was pretending to do a little center ice shooting competition and then dropped to the knee. Congratulations, Johnny, on the big day.
I think that's a one knee like Marty San Luis moment there, Dan. That's awesome news coming out of the Dells, and I think that's another game where the scoreboard doesn't tell the whole story, right? Because you look at what happened in those games, and it's extremely one-sided. But this is a Dells team that we've talked about, right? And we've talked about them as rebuilding, as sort of bringing in some new staff, some new coaching, some new goaltenders, and kind of bringing this team in from the ground up. They've admitted that they needed to take a bit of a left turn and try something else. And, as the season progresses, as you get more games in that Midwest West division, they are going to find themselves, I think. And it should be interesting to watch this Dells team. And I think the same goes for the Cougars, Dan. You don't get to walk off with a performance like that and not be the talk of the town.
And how about Joseph Martancic, the big-time Cougar, man? This guy is just nonstop. You can't get in his way. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. You give this guy time and space, and he gives you goals upon goals, man. Mm-hmm. This guy is an absolutely dominant player. He is dominant, Lucas. If you have missed out on Joseph Martancic at a Burbank, Illinois out there, a left-handed shot, 6'2", he's big, he's lanky, he's large, he controls the puck, he's got good body control, the guy can skate. If you've missed out on him, man, you are not looking. This is a guy who should be on everyone's radar this year.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the Cougars are another one of those teams that they've always been at the top there. They've had a lot of successes, and then they've just sometimes struggled when it comes time to the end of the season or when it comes time for nationals. And it'll be interesting to see how the first couple of months plays out here, because with a couple of showcases, some more games under their belts, we'll really start to get a more complete picture of what this squad can do.
Definitely, and then you keep going through. You head out to the Mountain Division, Lucas, and you see the Pueblo Bulls. The Northern Colorado Eagles looked like they were a powerhouse in Week 1, taking 3 in a row in a 3-game sweep. Then they head over to Pueblo, and I'll tell you what, the Bulls were showing the horns.
Yeah, we knew coming into the season that the Pueblo Bulls were going to have their horns locked on a number of teams out there in the Mountain Division, and they weren't going to let themselves be baited by any red capes or pulled around by any collars either. This is going to be a team that roams the ice with a lot of physicality, and I think they brought that. I think they brought that this weekend. They're not, so far at least, they're not this incredible scoring threat. But as we've learned time and time again via my ranting on the show, you don't have to score to win hockey games. You just have to score more than they do. And so I'm interested to see what this Pueblo team can pull together on the defensive side of the game as we continue. Their goaltender, Doug Wakelin, right now, 2-1 with a .333 goals against average. He's got an .878 saves percentage, but you kind of chalk that up to having an interesting start to a season, right? We haven't really been able to ease into it. And people who know goaltenders know that they have a very specific way about them. As I have learned by accidentally stepping in the path of a goaltender who was doing their warm-up, you got to give these guys their time and their space, and they didn't quite have it this year. So again, you wait a couple more games, you see what they get under their belt. I like this Pueblo team. I like the brand of hockey they play.
I just want to apologize to everyone who Dan K had to collar pop for the first half of the show. I want you to know, moving down to my beach house in the Jersey Shore, I'm not going to turn into the Jersey Shore. I promise that, but I'm doing my best over here. But Lucas, we keep moving through it. Last place I want to go, because we're going to talk a lot of Premier coming up, so I don't want to go too deep into this because we're going to also be making predictions in the Premier. You look at Rum River and the Moose and the Blue Ox out there in the Midwest West. the Moose got right back at it. This is a team that had title on their mind last year at the end of the season, upset the Metro Jets in the first game of the Nationals before it was shut down. Looked like they had their sights set on the semifinals. I mean, they look great already to start the season. The Rum River Mallards, a big win at home in the home opener. Then they come back, they get beat by the Moose, but a tough battle there. And then the Minnesota Blue Ox putting up a bajillion goals, man. This is a Blue Ox team that's always large and in charge.
And it's exactly where we left off from last season, Dan. It's the Minnesota Moose, the Minnesota Blue Ox, and these teams coming in hot and playing strong hockey. I mean, you go back and you watch those Moose games on Hockey TV, and this is a strong team. They're downhill skating. They're aggressive. They play the puck well. They do a great job. We know that Rum River is going to come into this season and be a competitor. The Blue Ox are always so pesky, and they're pesky in the sense that whatever we say about them, whether it's good or bad, they do the opposite to spite us.
Every time.
Which you got to admire that. You got to admire that little bit of a spiteful. That's a Jersey attitude out there with the Blue Ox. So we enjoy that, and it'll be interesting, like we said, to watch in this division. I think the one team to watch out for, kind of this wild card, is the Minnesota Mullets. Last year, just missed the cut on the playoffs, but they had a lot of players age out, move on to the next level. So this is a young Mullets team, and we've seen that go in both directions. So I think that's a team to keep your eye on.
Lucas, we talked a bunch of Premier, and now we've had one NCDC game to look at. I think it's the perfect time to make a way too early prediction.
Sounds good to me.
I think we should pick the winner in the North, the winner in the South. Who's the king of the North, Lucas? King of the North!
Well, I want to make this very clear to the folks at home. We have more than enough research with one game under our belts to accurately and confidently pick winners in each division.
Correct.
And I think the winner of the King of the North this year is going to be the Northern Cyclones.
Oh, no! This can't happen.
I will tell you this. I'm evenly split between the Northern Cyclones and the Boston Advantage.
This can't happen.
But the Northern Cyclones, I've seen them play a game before, so I know what they're all about. Boston Advantage, I haven't seen them play yet, so I feel like I can't pick them.
I agree. I agree with the Northern Cyclones. I don't agree on the Boston Advantage side, and I don't want to make enemies right away with the Advantage folks, but I think that this year for the Junior Bruins, the last 3 years, they've been so good every single year. And in junior hockey, eventually you hit that one patch where you got a lot of youth and you're figuring it out early and you don't have the same start. This is a team that has preyed on the ability to roll off 10 wins to start the season, and then it's just tacking on as the year goes on and building and getting better and growing as a team. The South Shore Kings win the first game of the year against the Boston Junior Bruins. I think that there's going to be some growing pains for this Junior Bruins side. I think the top of this North Division is ripe for the picking. I think it's the Northern Cyclones followed by IHC.
Ooh, okay.
At the top of this division. I think the Islanders Hockey Club start matriculating back to the top. I saw Tim Kirkostas, Coach K, doing an interview with Josh Boyd, and he looks like he is like a 1971 Herb Brooks assistant on the bench, man. He was rocking the old school blazer. The hair's grown out a little bit. I'm digging the vibes. I think it's Northern Cyclones because Bill Flanagan wants to win it all, followed by IHC.
You know, Coach K right now, if you put him on the bench of the movie Miracle, he would not look out of place. He fit right
not
in.
at all. You would think he was just Herb Brooks' guy, man. He's just on the bench. You know, he just might be one of the guys on the bench there. In the South Division, we've seen nothing. I have gotten some inside scoops from friend of the show and voice of the Jersey Hitman, Brett Luthner, just on what he's seen. He's been at some camps. He's been around. He loves this Hitman squad. Loves this Hitman squad. And I'll make the first pick. Jin Lee moves to Jersey. That's it. Tipping point.
That's big.
Need nothing else. I need nothing else. That is it. I've got the Jersey Hitmen yet again on top.
You know what? We've waxed poetic about Jin Lee so often, and it's because he deserves every single second of it. This kid is a fighter, he's a battler, and he's got talent, right? Because sometimes you talk about these guys who, yeah, he fights along the boards, right? And then, but that's not it for Jin Lee, right? Jin Lee can win. We've watched him win the puck out of a board battle, skate all the way down the ice after being on for 4 or 5 shifts in a row, and then go through defenders and score the puck. So that I can buy. I buy the hitmen, Dan,
Yeah.
but I disagree with you because I've also done a little bit of research. I've talked to some of the minds in the game, emailed a few coaches, texted a couple of guys. I think
Did
the
you get
Pal
bounced
Junior
back?
Islanders are winning this.
Wow. I will tell you what, that was Brett Luthner's second team. He said Pal looks scary. They look vicious this year. They look ready to take it. And last year, if you remember, Pal was my team last year.
Mm-hmm.
Pal was my pick last year. Do they do it this year? But now is your pick.
You know
That
what?
would upset me.
If the Pal Junior Islanders were a stock, Dan, 2 years ago was the time to buy in. Because
Yeah.
2 years ago, they sowed the seeds for what I think is coming this year. Because 2 years ago, they had a great team battling injuries. Last season, we saw what happened when they were at full strength. And we saw these huge bright spots, these streaky moments, these high skill moments that we did a game where they almost beat the Hitmen during last season when the Hitmen were at the top of the mountain for the entire year. I think this is the year. I think they essentially pull a Charlotte Rush where they build up a team, they fill the holes that they have, they grab a couple of great players, and they get out there and they win the whole thing.
Wow. Big picks, big thoughts. Let us know yours at _NK Show, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We'll be back with our premier and elite selections coming up next.
You are watching The Dan K Show. Everything USPHL. From the NCDC to the Premier and Elite Leagues. The Dan K Show with Dan K and Lucas Jones.
All right, let's go, Lucas. Time to put our money where our mouths are. Of course, we are not monetarily betting on anything, but we are going to make selections in the Elite and Premier. Kosa Youssef, our favorite viewer of the Dan K Show. One of our favorite viewers. We love you all. But always reaching out from us out in Minnesota. Big Moose fan, antlers up to you. And wanted to see our selections a few weeks ago. I promised them. So we're giving them this week so we can wait one more week for the Power Rankings. Next week, Power Rankings week coming at you. I love saying it. Favorite thing to say. Keep doing that. All right, Lucas, we're going to rapid fire starting in the USPHL Elite. This is the team we think wins each division. USPHL, Florida division.
USPHL Florida Elite Division, I'm going Tampa Bay Juniors right now. They're the young and the restless. They've got a few veterans on the squad, and they've come out strong.
Don't sleep on the Eels. Don't forget about the Eels. Never forget about the Eels. Tampa Bay Juniors, though, this is absolutely insane, man. Call these guys the Avengers. They're out for it this year. 29 goals, 4 games. They've only allowed 6. Super good. Next up, we go to the Mid-Atlantic. I'm going to pick first this go-around, Lucas. Every year, the Rockets Hockey Club looks like the best team in this division. Every year, the New York Aviators come into town, and they rain on that parade. Will they do it again? I got the Rockets Hockey Club. They finally do it. They get over the hump. The Wags, Todd Wagenbach, the man that's never invited us out on the boat or to a barbecue, wins this one. Let's go golf. Maybe reach out to us. We're like right down the road.
I've also got the New Jersey. I should say I've also got the Rockets Hockey Club here, Dan. This is a team that is fired up every year. I believe in the Wags, even though I believe he has never invited us to go do anything to hang out with him. I've lived 10 minutes away from Bridgewater for the last 5 years. The Rockets Hockey Club, I think, is going to fend off a feisty Aviators squad.
Who are the Kings of the North?
The Elite North, I think, is both tough and easy. You have your bailout area if you want to be aggressive. You don't want to be aggressive with it, but you can make an aggressive pick here as well, Dan. I am an aggressive guy. I am going Northern Cyclones. I think the Islanders Hockey Club going 3-0 is a good sign for the Islanders Hockey Club, but I'm interested by this Northern Elite team.
Matt Irwin, Keenan Waters, Danny Woods, guys that will not be skating out onto the ice for the Northern Cyclones. They are my favorite Elite team. of all time, man. They are just lovers of the Dan K show. I love watching this team play, but Dan K is going to create some bulletin board material for you boys. IHC is putting a squad in this elite level for the first time here, and they're 3-0 to start the season, and they are going to win big time. Islanders Hockey Club, edge out Northern Cyclones. They're going to be 1-2. They both go to nationals in my mind, but I got IHC. That's a great division the way they've set that up. Great job by the USPHL. Love it. Keep it up. Southeast, final group in the elite. This is a toss-up. Flip the coin. Who you got?
I've got the Carolina Junior Hurricanes.
Boo this man. Boo
I've
this man.
got the Carolina Junior Canes because they had injury issues last year. They had to bounce a bunch of players around, back at full strength, year 2. Fully believe in this Carolina squad.
I said the Charlotte Rush were the deepest team at both levels. The Richmond Generals, these generals, took out the white glove and slapped me in the gosh darn face. Boom. Challenged me to a duel, said, here's what we think about your thoughts. You're wrong. You're dead wrong. And guess what? The team who wins the cup, you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And nobody's beaten them Generals yet. I got the Gens. Roll Gens, baby. Now, we keep moving to the Premier, Lucas, because I am going to segue there. I kind of left it there for you to do it. But if you don't want to take the reins,
Send it right back.
We'll take it, send it my way. All right, now back in, feeling it, back out to you. Okay. USPHL Premier selections. Who do Dan K and Lucas Jones think wins each level, starting again in the Florida?
Well, this one I'm not going to go Tampa Bay again. I think they're a great squad. I think that elite squad is just a bit stronger. I would love to see them prove me wrong. I'm going to the Slippery Eels, Dan. This is an offensive team. They can hang with the best of them. They bring in all this international talent every single year. They can play as a team. They can succeed individually. I've seen a lot of positive things in these first 4 games.
Demid Podrazov, TJ Zebley, Gage Dill, Tristan Roost, Gage McNeish, Jake Court, Cade Swiger. The best thing the Eels do is the repetition. They continue to build the guys through every level until they get them to the next level. TJ Zebley can outskate anybody in the world. Podrazov's got some of the best hands on the planet. Gage Dill is a never-quit kind of centerman. You know, Justin Marazek there, you add him in. He's got so much talent as well. Luke Jankowskis, man. Let's talk about a rookie Polak there, getting things done for you physically at the right wing position. This is a big-time squad. This is a big-time year. I've got the Eels as well. Glad to hear we agree. Moving down the list, how about that Great Lakes division?
Yeah, how about that Great Lakes division? I think it's interesting, you know, and we haven't seen enough, I think, in this talented division, you know, because every year there's a couple of teams in the mix. We talked already about how the Toledo Cherokee might be getting ready to mount a little bit of an offensive on the Metro Jets, the king of the Great Lakes division, the Lake Superior, if you will, to the rest of the lakes out there. And I'm not going to deviate from that. The Metro Jets are too strong a program. They've got too deep a roster. Their coaching staff is too good. My heart says Toledo, but I got to go Metro.
The Toledo Cherokee look great. The Bighorns are ready to battle. The Vengeance are always tough. The Oilers and Mavericks are looking to build on it this year. Justin Quenville, man, this is a guy who is just – he's got that presence. He's got a presence when he walks in the room, and you're running through a wall for him every time out. I think he puts together another winner with the Metro Jets. I think it's the Metro Jets in the Great Lakes. Mid-Atlantic, a 10-team division now. Anybody's ball game. Some huge, talented teams in it. Some physicality. You're going to get beat up some nights. You're going to have to race with the Aviators on other nights. You're going to have to play both ends of it. You're going to get great goaltending. Who do you think edges it all out?
All right, hang on. I got to close the window because it's starting to rain now.
Oh, God, no. Hold on, I'm going to answer a text to Brian real quick.
The last thing I want is like a whole bunch of rain sounds in the background. People are going to go to sleep. Oh, Dan's gone.
1 second.
You're good.
No, just ESPN's just screwing up everything with the postseason.
Classic move.
Good work, ESPN. Okay.
All right, Mid-Atlantic. Now, in the Mid-Atlantic, Dan, we, again, don't have much to go off of except our own thoughts, our own feelings, the history, and what we've kind of talked about. And with 10 teams in the Mid-Atlantic, how could we possibly choose a winner? Well, we choose a winner by stalling, by stating the obvious, Dan. And then we pick the Aviators.
Same. I
have been sitting on my rocking chair on the porch yelling at the Aviators as they walk on my lawn for years now. And I've finally given up. The lawn is yours. Just take it. Aviators to win in Mid-Atlantic.
Rockets Hockey Club, Skipjacks, PAL, CJR, Jersey Hitmen, Enforcers, Thunder, Philly, Utica, all going to be tough. The Aviators, I don't know what it is. Seeing Mike Stanaway this offseason, he just seems like – it always seems like he's playing, the old cliche, he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Well, he's not just doing those. He's playing Risk, all right? This is a guy who is playing a completely different game, and he scores goals, takes chances, and I think that's going to happen all year for the Aviators. It's going to be the attack of the Swedes. I'll tell you that much, and it's going to be sweet. A sweet time in Brooklyn. Talk about a sweet time. How about down in the Southeast where I can pick first and tell you it's going to be the Charlotte Rush? Because, man, oh, man, have they been good.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to agree with you here, Dan.
Of course you're not picking the Hampton Roads Whalers. I gave you a chance. I gave you a chance to win them back, to win back the hearts and minds of the people. Brad Jones is absolutely stomping on goal calls out in Hampton Roads right now and waiting for Lucas to pick his Whalers. Kyle Watson's out there being brilliant, flying from across the pond to be the best hockey player in the world, and you picked the Rush. Way to go.
In the words of Hampton Roads Whalers owner Patrick Cavanaugh, we don't want your support. After we talked with him about it and we had said, Lucas does like your team. He goes, I don't care. I don't want him. So you know what? And I'm not going to say anything against giving up 2 goals in 4 games. That's Lucas Jones hockey. You can't argue with that.
But the 22 goals is Dan K hockey, I'll tell you that much. Let's go to the New England division, another reshaped, rebuilt division. 9 teams now in this New England division. A lot of talent, a lot of tough squads, and a little bit known about anybody. I'll tell you, I said at the beginning of the year, the Junior Bruins are going to be my surprise squad here in the Premier. They've had a few down years at the Premier level. I think this year they put a little bit more into it. They're a little younger at the NCDC level, which really helps them out here. And I just think this Junior Bruins team is going to be tough. I don't think they win at all. I think it's the Monarchs in the Premier.
Interesting. I like that. The Monarchs have a really good development program all the way from the Mites all the way up to the NCDC. They do a great job of moving players. I'm interested by that. My first instinct is to go IHC, but I think with the addition of the elite team, I want to see how that kind of plays out. When you're adding new teams, sometimes it has a tendency to draw from the talent that might be in a squad. I like your Monarchs pick. I wonder what the Boston Advantage will do at this level.
You love this Boston Advantage side.
I do love
you
this.
You are just trying to pander early.
The one time I saw the Boston Advantage, I said, is that the NCDC team? And someone goes, no, that's a mix of all their guys.
Yeah.
And I was impressed by the size, the speed, the skill. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say Boston Advantage.
I'll tell you what, it is a great pick. I do like the pick. They look fast. They look great. I mean, I've liked everything I've seen from what the Advantage are doing so far. Great organization. They're going to add a lot to this USPHL framework. Talk about adding a lot to the USPHL framework. How about let's go out and let's skip the Midwest. I want to save the Midwest for last, the West and the East divisions. Let's go out to those new boys out in the Pacific. And there's some great team names out here. The Fresno Monsters, Roar, the Southern Oregon Spartans, the Las Vegas Thunderbirds, the Anaheim Avalanche, the San Diego Sabres. I'll tell you what, I've heard a lot of interesting things about this Fresno Monsters team. They play a lot of physical hockey. Mm-hmm. They get out there, and you are going to not get hit into the boards. You're going through the boards. They battle. They're tough. They scrape. They claw. I like the Monsters out here in the Pacific.
I I pseudo agree with you. I like the Monsters. I like what I've seen, but I want to go in a different direction here with the Pacific Division. I want to go to San Diego, San Diego, San
San Diego,
Diegans,
San Diegaites.
San Diegans.
We all know what it's Spanish for.
I believe it's an old wooden ship, and it's named the San Diego Sabres. I'm really excited to see this Pacific Division get to playing, and I'm really excited to visit San Diego in the middle of winter. Let's go. Let's get out there and cover some hockey.
San Diego, back to Tampa, out to Vegas. Let's go hit Anaheim, maybe. Let's
Why
dance
not?
up to Southern Oregon, see some redwoods in Fresno. I'm down. Get us out here. Have you seen what it looks like out in Provo? Let's go to Utah. Let's get out to Pueblo and not call it Pueblo. Let's see Northern Colorado, Southern Colorado. I'm in. You sold me.
Let's just rent an RV.
I'm done.
Home is
Well,
wherever the hockey is, Dan.
I was going to save it for the empty net, but big news, $10,000 for a 32-seater bus from Ben Gray, owner of the Twin City Thunder out there. You want to buy it?
Maybe. I think I got like $60 right now in my account, but like
I got this mug and some leftover bread from a Cheesecake Factory DoorDash.
we can maybe make a deal.
Let's go for it. Let's go to the mountain, though. Let's go to the mountain, all right? Northern Colorado Eagles, Pueblo Bulls, Ogden Mustangs, Provo, and Utah. We've seen 3 of these squads play. We talked with the coach from the Provo River Blades. We talked with the folks in Pueblo. We had a lot of conversations out here. We've seen some hockey. Who you liking?
Well, the problem is so far the Northern Colorado Eagles are obviously the team to beat right now. But that goal differential doesn't quite inspire me to be fearless at this moment. You know, the Charlotte Rush in that division, that goal differential, that's really a statement. Northern Colorado Eagles are good. Pueblo Bulls are good. You know, the Ogden Mustangs struggling to find that first one, but they're going to get there. I think I'm going to go down to Provo. There is something about the way that I've seen that team come into the league, the stuff we've seen out of their training camp so far, and I'm intrigued by the lack of games so far. I hesitate to get rid of a team because of no games, and for that reason, I go Provo.
I tell the folks in the Pacific, I tell the folks in the Mountain Divisions, next week is our Dan K Show Power Rankings. It is a huge show. It is a big show. It is the most watched show in junior hockey, and it is where we rank the top 10 teams from this very big premiere.
Mm-hmm.
I will be battling you, Lucas, next week about this Pueblo Bulls side.
Ooh.
I watched some Pueblo Bulls hockey. They're big, they're large, they're in charge, and they made a Northern Colorado Eagles team that really, really got me excited to watch some hockey in week 1. They really gave them everything they could handle. I am excited about Pueblo, and I would not be surprised if they showed up in the top 10 because I will start throwing fits if they don't, if they keep looking the way they do throughout the next week.
Just going to hold your breath until we get them in the top 10.
I said Pueblo. All right, let's keep going. Let's get to the Midwest. Let's start with the Midwest East here, Lucas. Division that's always a toss-up, always all over the place. I like the Chicago Cougars every year. And a little coaching change here. And I'll tell you, they just always have smart, heady coaches. They always have a great coaching staff. The Schwartz family is always heavily involved. The work being done out there by Mike and the team. This is a Cougars team that showed up and put up 20 goals in their first 2 games. 20 goals in their first 2 games.
And they only let 1 goal in. It's another case of the team trying to win over both of us. And I'm not going to ignore that. I'm going Cougars as well.
Yeah, they look great. They look very difficult to deal with. It is going to be a fun season out there. Let's go to the Midwest West and close out our predictions before we head to the empty net. We all know whoever we pick isn't going to win it. All right? Let's put it out there right now. Whatever. So root against this right now. You don't want us to pick you, I promise. Don't get mad at us. Everything we do in the Midwest West is wrong. The Dan K Show Midwest West jinx has lived on for years. Lucas, who are you jinxing?
Oh, boy. How do you even pick a team? I mean, the Hudson Havoc was so good last year, and their recruiting game is strong. Head coach Brett Wall is absolutely running a factory out there. The River Kings as well. Marty Quarters just treats everyone who walks in that building like a River King, and he expects nothing less from all his players. We already talked about the Mullets and the Mallards, a little bit of an interesting year for them. The Blue Ox and the Moose, these are two tough squads as well. And, it comes down, I think, for me, between the Havoc and the Moose to try to make a decision here. And I think I got to go with the Moose. And
I'm glad you went with the Moose.
I got to go with the Moose here because I'm a huge fan of the baby blue jerseys. They should be wearing those all the time. Other teams should change their jerseys to accommodate the fact that the Moose are wearing those jerseys. I think they've got really physical play as their baseline. So whether they play defense well or score goals well in a game or do both, it all starts with that physicality. And I think the piece of the puzzle they've just been missing is a couple of playmakers, and I think they've got them this year. So I like the Moose.
I look to the other side of it, and I see the Wisconsin Rapids River Kings, right? And I know Marty Quarters are going to bring it every single year, year in and year out. But I have a feeling about this Havoc squad, and we talked to a young man that he might be one of my favorite players on the planet at any level right now. Just a smart dude, a kid who gets it, a guy who wants to make a big change in this world, both on and off the ice, and a guy who had me tearing up, man, when we talked to him this summer on the Dan K Show Presents Hockey is for Everyone, something everyone should go back and watch if you haven't seen it yet. It's Alex Grove, baby, and Alex Grove is my guy. And this kid is not going to take no for an answer. He's not going to allow this team to lose. He's not going to have off days. He's going to grind. And the boys are going to rally around that. And the guys who are still in camp there, the guys who have held over from last year's winning team, I think they don't just win the division. I think they might have some cheese curds to snack on before this year.
Big fighting words.
I have made some big-time enemies in Wisconsin Rapids, but I've had a great time, and I hope you all have had a great time because we got to move to the empty net. Let us know your thoughts on our selections, who you think is going to win each division at _DanK Show, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Reach out, be a part of the show, www.dankshow.com to find out more. As always, we always partner with Elite Junior Profiles, EliteJRProfiles.com. Bring your player experience to the next level and be seen by every scout and coach. Empty Net coming up next. Welcome to the Empty Net. Welcome to the Empty Net, our favorite portion of each week's show where we talk to you, the fan. And first, Lucas, a familiar face is back. And, two familiar faces are winning yet again for the Richmond Generals Elite. The Generals swept the rush, and at Foo Farley, Chris Farley, baby, reached out to us, letting us know, showing us the video of the game coming to a close, a 3-2 win in Game 2 to get the sweep.
Yeah, you got to love that. I mean, we would be down in Richmond every game if we could. I mean, this is just such an active fan base, an active community. We love the energy that comes out of that rink. We love the energy from these rivalries, too. And, the parents are such a huge part of it, and it really feels like a family atmosphere down there.
We've been talking nonstop about how great this Tampa Bay Juniors team has been. How about Helen Jorge saying congratulations to all the boys? Yes, Jamie Jorge, number 13. I think there's a relation there. Congrats to Jamie's doing a great job. And then, Lucas, finally, I scroll up here and I see we're starting to get some love from our Players of the Week. If you haven't read about our Players of the Week, go to www.dankshow.com to check that out. We see from Kristen Crandall, that's at Kristen Crandall 4. Yes, Andrej, way to go. And a picture of the boys looking super fly with the sunset in the background. I'll tell you what, that's Instagram a fish right there, man.
Yeah, I think so. I absolutely love doing the Players of the Week. I absolutely love doing the top 5 goal highlight videos because we get to shine a light on the individual accomplishments for these players, right? Everybody's always talking about the teams, how good these teams are. Well, these players need to be talked about. They need to have the spotlight shined on them, and what a performance he had. Absolutely deserved.
And then how about at Cliffy94? That's Cliffy Hockey. Great praise for former Sheffield junior hockey player Kyle Watson. Brilliant. After his 5 goals over the weekend for the Hampton Roads Whalers on the Dan K Show blog. I'm guessing Sheffield, like the home of Sheffield United, Lucas. big time Premier League soccer guy here. How about my Toffees going 3-0? Come on, you Blues. Everton leading the way. Bye-bye, Liverpool. Down with the Reds. That's all I say, Lucas. That's all I say. But, this is a kid in England. They love a spot a tay. This is a guy who loves a goal full of hockey pucks. All right, that was a bad accent. I apologize to everybody in England, Joey Fatone, and again, anyone across the pond. I apologize for the accent. Was not well executed.
Although, if you're from England, and Dan actually did nail a regional accent, because those accents are super regionalized, let us know at _Dan K Show. Which place in England would Dan K have grown up in with that accent?
All right, now, Jerry. I don't know what this was. This was much worse than what I was doing before. Okay, this one is kind of right. I guess I kind of get that.
You're dipping into like a little bit of a Beatles there.
Yeah, I was. Little Ringo.
Yeah,
little Ringo-y. All
yeah,
right,
little Ringo.
Lucas, as the star of the show, Ringo pun. Parting words. Nice Ringo finish. You did make your camera blurry because you moved too fast for a second. But other than that, when Dan K's on the mic, it's always hockey night. Thanks again for watching. Thanks to the USPHL for all the great work they're doing to bring hockey to the masses nationwide. Keep watching the Dan K Show. Keep reaching out. Keep talking to us at _Dan K Show, www.dankshow.com. Reach down, hit that subscribe button. We need your help.
Might be time for a new webcam there, Dan.
Well, I know that I'm getting a new phone. I broke the phone while moving.
Well, I was going to say this is the original Dan K Show webcam that I'm using.
Really?
Yeah.
I think this was a moving related accident that will now need to be fixed. So I will be fixed by next show, and if not, I will put money into the kangaroo court jar for the Dan K Show.
Fixed by next show or fixed in 2 years, one of the two will happen.
At some point.